Today, we're doing the tale of two different women. One woman is a single mom with a neurodiverse kiddo and is working. The other tale is of an older woman married for 20 years, older kids, some graduated from high school on their own, and neurodiverse husband, and the marriage is difficult. I'm going to walk you through both of these scenarios using the Joy of You planner system and explaining how each of these women can take tiny steps each week in each of these categories to be intentional in their roles and also work on meeting their self-care or life care needs and the impact, the tiniest steps each week, how they will add up, and I'll give you a sneak peek into what their life will look like a year later. Hey friend, do the daily demands of life leave you exhausted and burnt out with no time for yourself? Are you feeling alone in your relationship and hopeless of life ever changing? Hey, I'm so glad you're here. I'm Christina, married 18 years to my neurodiverse husband and mom of 3 neurodiverse kids. Welcome to the Neurodiverse Family Life Podcast, where we are reclaiming self-care for moms while still being a loving wife and mother. Get ready to begin your self-care journey. Grab your latte planner as you listen in and take small steps towards a healthier you. We are going to have a fun chat together. I am going to walk you through the Journey of You or Joy Planner, and I'm going to use a couple of different family situations to give an example of how it could be used, and maybe it'll give you a glimpse of how it could be relatable for you. So if you are just joining for the first time, I am launching a Kickstarter by God's grace, a Kickstarter to launch a new planner that I've been using in its infancy back in 2013, and slowly but surely has evolved and it has grown into a beautiful system that's helped me focus on my self-care, but also still take care of my task and also the important roles I have in life, but also do that intentionally and not seeing those roles as a to-do list. Our first scenario is a single mom who has one or more neurodiverse kids. She may have one neurodiverse kid and then have other kids who are considered neurotypical or autistic. And she is trying to tread water and sometimes is feeling like it's almost impossible. And once in a while, her head gets above water, she gets a breather, and then it's back to treading water again. In the beginning of the planner, each person will fill out different assessments and some reflection time and deep diving into each area of your life. And based upon that, there will be goals and direction that you will discover. Looking at the week layout, there are 9 different categories. Faith, which if you're not a person of faith, it can be your spiritual direction, your faith background. For me, that is Christianity, but for you, maybe it's different, or maybe you are open, but you're curious. That's what that category is for anything regarding relationship with God. Next is relate, which is your most important relationship. That could be a spouse. It also can be a fiance, a boyfriend, or it can be whoever that most important person is. Maybe it is your friend and you two are always having a great time together. You have each other's back. This is just the most important relationship, and that's why I call it relate. So it does not have the stigmatism if you are divorced, widowed, or maybe you are single, unmarried. I want this to be something where no matter what, you have a most important relationship in your life. And that's what this category is for. Next, family. Family can be your own children. It can be your parents. It can be your siblings. It can be your extended family. It can be who you call family. It doesn't have to be by blood. So the term family really is those people, and maybe every single month it changes. One month it's your children, and the next month maybe there's some intense stuff going on, so you're really focused on your extended family or your family of origin. That can change. Next category for life roles is work. Work, again, is a broad category. That can be your job. That can be the business that you own. It can be a volunteer position or something that you are ministering to, a ministry you're in charge of. Or if you are at home and you're saying, Christina, I don't have any of those things, this can be for you to develop the skills to have a part-time or full-time job. So this is not just if you have that role, it is to develop that area so you can have it. So this is perfect if you are at home and maybe you've raised your kids. But again, we're talking about the single mom with neurodiverse kids. So we'll get into this in a little bit. Then home. Home is taking care of the home itself, the maintenance, the cleaning of it, finances. That whole experience is home. Now, mind. Mind is your mental and emotional health. That is your thoughts. That is both challenging your mind, but also healing your mind, recovering your mind. This can be from practicing your deep breathing, taking your thoughts captive, reworking anxious thought patterns, to reading books that are challenging your mind, memorizing verses. It can be so many different items, but the main thing is it is something regarding your mind, and this is part of your self-care, or what I call life care. Next is your health. This is your physical health. This is the lifestyle diet that you want to eat or that you are eating. It is the medical appointments that you need to schedule. For me, oftentimes it's physical therapy, and it can also be exercising. Again, really broad, depending upon what phase of life you're in. This can be more focused on exercising and healthy eating. For a while, for me, it was mainly exercising and physical therapy exercises because of my chronic pain. Okay, next is community. And community, again, is your support system. This is the people that are around you that care for you, whether it is your family, if they are people that are safe in that realm. It is support groups, other people who understand you and understand the situation. It is friends, maybe that they don't understand completely, but you are getting out and hanging out with other women and eye-to-eye contact, which Dr. Wilder talks about all the time, that joy happens when we are with other people and we have eye-to-eye contact. Or living being, that could be a dog or cat excited to see you, curls up to you. Having community is so important for our life care. And last is enjoy. These are activities that we just enjoy so much. We look forward to. We love planning for it. Your hobbies. That's a great way to summarize this up, as hobbies. But really, enjoy can be something as simple as sitting in the backyard and watching all the critters do their daily business. You know, like getting food and flying around and singing their songs. Like, that can be it. So back to our example of a single mom with a neurodiverse kiddo. For Faith, she might put down there is a certain section of the Bible she wants to read. And maybe it's 10 verses that week. And so her goal is to read 1 to 2 verses every day out of that section. And she'll write down, let's say, Galatians chapter 1, verses 1 through 10. She might write that down. Okay, relate. She's single. She is not dating anyone. But for her, her most important relationship is her mom, because her mom is her rock and her supporter. So she's going to write down something where she is able to support that relationship, and maybe it's a thank you note to her mom on the impact, the changes that she has done in helping her with her kiddo. Family, that can be with her own kid, or maybe she has a couple of kids. This woman is spending so much time in doing therapies and work, and it feels like there is no free time. She's either working, or she's taking the kids to therapies, or she's going through therapies at home. So for her, she's going to write down one small thing that week that she wants to do as a family that is going to be fun, because the goal is to be intentional. We're always going to have these tasks that we have to do, but one intentional thing she wants to do as a family. So maybe for her, it's going to be sitting at a coffee shop with her kid and they can watch, maybe they enjoy coffee shops, they can watch the barista make up coffees, but she's able to sit down with them and just talk and have a fun experience with no expectations of therapies or discipline or reminders. It's just a fun moment for them to have together. Okay, work. Let's say she has a job, but it's not doesn't pay very well. And so she is going to begin researching what career paths she has. It may be visiting the local tech college. Maybe it's creating a LinkedIn account. Do you see, like, setting up an appointment to visit a technical college? That can be a massive thing, depending on everything else that's going on in her schedule. Massive. But if she makes that appointment one week, the next week she can do some research. In the following week, she's going to the appointment. Do you see how these tiny steps will begin adding up? Eventually, she'll be applying for financial aid. And then she'll be getting set up for classes. Like, all of it is going to keep building on. Or maybe she has a job, but she needs to work on upward mobility. So it's looking at training that's offered in-house, or asking her boss, what training does she need? So she'll have down there, ask boss on training. Next, we have home. And maybe for her, she is wanting to make it a more welcoming place. So for her, she thinks, you know what? I just want to buy towels to hang on the oven door that are just, they make me smile whenever I see them. Maybe they go with the theme for the month. Like, if it's, right now this is July as I'm recording, so maybe it's more of a summer theme, or it's a patriotic, if you're in America, red, white, and blue. But maybe she goes and spends $8, $10, and she gets a set of these cute towels that she hangs on her oven door and she uses, and it brings smiles to her face. That's great. It's something for home. It's super simple, but yet let's move this forward. If every week she's working on something, if she says, you know what, I think this week I'm going to get a potted plant for my home. Or maybe she's like, you know what, I'm going to organize one drawer in my kitchen. You keep moving this forward, she will begin having more in her kitchen organized. So now let's talk about life care. Mind. So for the single mom, she might be putting down, you know what, I am so wired from being on at work, and then I'm rushing to pick up my kid from school, and then I'm coming home and I'm trying to figure out what in the heck I'm going to make for supper, and then doing the different therapies with them, and then it's bedtime, and I need to do something for my mind. And so for her, it may be she is taking an extra 5 minutes on her drive between work and picking up her kid. She's pulling over the side of the road, or maybe at a park, or possibly it's at a neighborhood that has trees and a yard, and she's able to just pulls over and she just sits there for a few minutes. She breathes in, she breathes out. Maybe she's using the pause app or another app to help regulate her mind, but she does that. Her goal is to do it maybe 2 or 3 times a week. And that helps her mind so she's able to be present with her kiddo. Now, health. She is so busy, but yet how come she only has 2,500 steps on her watch? And so maybe her goal is that she is going to get 5,000 steps in a day. And she's going to do that by walking around the house, or maybe walking around the block at her apartment complex. She's going to find a simple way of doing it. Or she's parking farther at work and walking in just to get those extra steps. And what will happen if we compound that? She slowly keeps building. She parks farther away. She takes extra flights of stairs up and down. Those steps, it's going to keep increasing, and she's going to feel her energy increase as well. Community. For her, it may be finding a support group, an online support group that allows her to meet later in the evening when her kid's in bed. And once a week, she's able to talk with other women about the life challenges, and tears come to her eyes as she's talking to a woman on the computer and realizing like she's in the same situation as her, and there's this removal of aloneness, this removal of being invisible, and someone else sees your pain and she feels so seen. And all of a sudden, the going from being alone to being seen does something amazing to her heart. And if she continues this group once a week, every other week, maybe it's only once a month, but if she continues this group, the I'm alone to I am seen and heard and understood, that change is so powerful, and she begins feeling resilience. Now, enjoy the last category. For her, she has a green thumb. Well, she wants to have a green thumb, but it's tricky. So for her, she is going to get a plant. She's going to spend some time looking up what would be a good house plant. Does she want it to flower? Maybe not. Should it be a vegetable so it's a purposeful plant? And she'll go back and forth, spend a little time thinking about it, enjoying the process, thinking about it, finding a pot that she would like. So maybe the first week's going to be decide which type of plant. That's it. That's all she's going to do, is figure out what kind of plant she wants to have. Maybe that week she decides, you know what? I would love to do a vegetable, but I really want something that I just enjoy. So I'm going to do a flower. Okay. Next week, decide what type of flower she wants to get. That's going to be week number 2 of the month. Week number 3 of the month is going to be find a pot for that flower. And week number 4 is purchasing that flower. Do you see how this works? These tiny steps. By the end of the month, she has a beautiful potted plant. She's been in a community online for a couple of weeks, and she's starting to feel not alone and feeling more resilience. Her health, she went from having 2,500 steps at the beginning of the month, and at the end of the month, she's almost at 5,000. Sometimes, once in a while, she gets 7,000 steps a day. And then her mind, she spent 2 or 3 times a week, she's taken that break for 5 minutes, and she's found that she is less impatient with her son. She's finding that she is more loving, and she loves it because she's starting to be that proactive mom that she's wanted to be so long. Instead of always being behind, as soon as she wakes up, she's finding taking that small 5-minute break between work and picking up her kid from school. It's changing everything. So now real quick, let's go through another scenario. Let's go through a scenario of a woman who is older. Her kids are mostly all grown up, or maybe there's a few in high school yet. And she is married. Her spouse is neurodiverse, and she has at least one neurodiverse kid who may or may not live in the home. So let's do that scenario real quick. One for Faith. She might put down, she wants to begin doing a Bible journaling in an artistic way. And her goal is once a week that she is going through 5 verses, and sometime during that week that she does some type of artistic or creative, in quotation marks, something that to her feels artistic or creative. She is coloring in her Bible, or maybe she has a Bible journal notebook, and in that journal she is writing down the verse, and she is creatively displaying that Bible verse. And for her, it's 5 verses, and she's maybe just doing one image, and she doesn't want anyone else to see it because maybe it's too private, or well, it doesn't look like what so-and-so does on Instagram. But the joy she has from doing that is beautiful. Now relate. Let's say in this scenario, relationship with her husband is pretty strained. He cares for her and loves for her, but he thinks that by going to work and by coming home every night and by being present, that is showing love and communicating that. And he doesn't understand why she wants more. And she's longing for the emotional connection. She is longing for him to go out and do things with her, to experience new restaurants, or to experience a road trip to a place that they've never gone before. But that's not really an option because of the sensory challenges and the difficulty with transitions. So for relate, it may be either one, she's focusing on finding one activity that they can do together that he enjoys and also she enjoys. That could be her first thing. Is like she's the first week is like decide on what would be one activity that we could do together. Or if the relationship is so difficult, she may actually need to pivot and focus on a different most important relationship for a time being. Maybe it's making time with her best friend instead. So next, family. Some of her kids are grown up, but she has some in the home. So her goal may be like, well, they're not all in the same location anymore. So every week, maybe she focuses on one of the kids and she finds a way to connect with them meaningfully. It could be a phone call, it could be a letter, maybe it's a care package. And she's crafting this based upon their needs. If her child is neurodiverse and they're off at college, her care package might be very practical. Or if her child is has ADHD or is neurotypical, maybe it's more of a I love you and miss you type of care package where it has all their favorite items in there. Who knows? She gets it crafted the way she wants to. But she is doing something intentionally to show love to her family, to her kids. And if it's for one of their kids at home, she is looking to have just a coffee date together or tea date. Maybe it's bowling, but they're just doing something together that is fun, no expectations. And then next is work. So this woman has been at home most of her life. She did work for a while, and then when the kids came into the world, she decided to be a stay-at-home mom, and maybe she even homeschooled the kids. But now it's come to the point with the oldest one finishing high school soon and the others on their own, that she realizes that with the challenges of the marriage, the thought of just being at home is a little bit too much. And so she is wanting to develop something outside of home, outside of being a mom and a wife. And she is looking for either to be volunteering in ministry, or she wants to volunteer at a local nonprofit, or it is getting back into the workforce, which for her really is scary because she's been out of it for 20 years. And she thinks, what could I possibly do? So for her, the very first thing she's going to do is one, begin journaling on what are her strengths, what are her interests, what are her passions. Begin that process of self-discovery. And if the first step in this process of this journaling results in her saying, I'm awful at everything, then there's some heart work that has to be done. Of realizing like, no, she can't be awful at everything. That's not true. It's the messages she's received over the last 2 decades that has told her, oh, I'm not very good at stuff. And in reality, she is. She's managed a home and a family. So that process of journaling, one thing she could look at is what color is your parachute, which is a very thorough process of figuring out what your interests are. Maybe that's for her. She wants to spend each week, she wants to maybe do 1 chapter. Or maybe she's doing some career tests with Dave Ramsey and doing some assessments because she wants something a little bit more quicker. Next, we have home. And for her, she feels like everything has kind of like stopped. It's almost like a time capsule in the house. She looks around the house and she's like, oh my goodness, nothing has changed in 10 years. Partially because her spouse really struggles with change, but she's wanting home to have more life. So she communicates with her husband that she is going to begin doing small updates, and she's going to inform him what those updates are. And her goal for 1 week is going to decide what area of the house is going to be updated. And maybe, as that 1 week, she's going to decide, I am going to update the curtains. That's what I'm going to do. And so the second week is going to be, I need to get the measurements of the curtains. I need to know the window size. I need to decide, can I keep the rods or not? And then the third week is, now I'm going to be looking at the different curtain options. And the fourth week is going to be, I am ordering the curtains. And the next month, she's going to be installing the curtains. Next is mind. For her, she feels like her mind is not being able to be utilized very often. She feels like it's not challenged. So for her, she is going to be, there's certain topics she's been interested in for a while. Perhaps it's interior design. She's wanted to really dive into that, but she knew it was a little more technical than just picking new curtains out. So she wants to go to the library and check out books. Maybe she wants to start a backyard garden, but it's been a long time and she knows she has to do it 100% by herself, that her spouse is not interested in that. He doesn't like getting dirt on his hands. So she needs to start at square one. Then she is going to the library and she is getting books and bringing them home and doing a slow reading process that she can do in the evening or maybe in the morning. Next is health. For her, she realizes that she has put everyone else ahead of her and focus on making sure everyone else got good meals and people were taking care of themselves. And she has not seen a functional practitioner or her normal doctor, whoever she sees, she hasn't seen someone in about 5 years. So for her, is writing down, schedule an appointment with a doctor. Next, community. Community can be, she is wanting to be around other people because she's at home and her husband's close to retirement and she doesn't know what life is going to be like when he retires and he's home all the time. And she really wants to find that group of people that she can once a week get together with. And she's looking now for a walking club. They don't have to understand everything about her life, but if they enjoy walking and being outdoors, maybe it's a hiking club. The thought of her being able to hike once a week, she's thinking, oh my goodness, that would be so amazing, because it'd be different destinations, different places. And maybe afterwards I can get together with some of the women and we can get coffee. Like, she's excited about this. So her first step is going to be look up local hiking or walking clubs in the area. The next week is going to be contact them. And the third week is buy a pair of shoes. And fourth week, show up and join that club. Next, their final one is enjoy. For enjoy, she's a creative person. If you haven't already figured that out, she's a creative person. And a long, long time ago, she used to watercolor and she did a little drawing. The feeling, that freedom, that ability to just create something has been long, long gone. And she kind of wants to see if it can come back. So the first step would be assess what type of supplies do you currently have. And so she's going to go through her storage and she's going to rediscover, oh, I still have that box. I forgot. I packed that away because my spouse had said like the paint smells was too much for him. So she put that box away because she was trying to be a good wife, but that box is still there. And she's realizing I can go paint out in the porch. And in the nice warmer days, I can paint outside and the smell won't bug him. So she assesses the first week all of her different supplies. Week 2, she begins getting a book from the library, or maybe she's looking online on what supplies are needed for paint, like what has changed in the last 20, 30 years. And then week 3, she goes to the store and she walks around her favorite craft stores and just enjoys seeing all the different possibilities. And she picks up a few items. In week 4, she sits down and she stares at that blank canvas for a little while. Actually, about 30 minutes she stared at it. And then she just kind of started and she slowly painted. Memories came back to her when she was younger and how much she enjoyed painting. And she's kind of thinking, I wonder, how would I paint this? Like, what technique would I use to make that tree look a little bit more 3D and have more definition? And so she looks up at her phone to see what technique she can use. And she begins using it. And she is so excited because she's amazed at what she created. Like, it's not something she wants to share with everyone, but it's something to her, it's so meaningful. Now, this is the beautiful part of this system. Let's go back and look at what would happen after a month. After a month, for Faith, she would have between 3 to 5 different little Bible journal collages or journal entries that she had done. And she would look at them And to her, they bring so much joy because she looks at them and remembers the Bible verses that went with each one. She remembers her heartache during those moments. And she also remembers the comforting she felt from God as she wrote out the Bible verse in her prayer. For relate. So our friend spent 1 week just thinking about what would be one activity. And she wrote down 5 different ideas. The next week, she found a time when her husband was sensory calm and his relational circuits were on, and she talked to him about the 5 different options and got his ideas. And he agreed. He thought 2 of them were, one was a great option and another one was decent. Week 3, realizing that she loved being outdoors and he loved birds, they both agreed upon doing a outdoor hike in an area that's known for a variety of birds, and they were going to do a bird hike. Week 3, they tried it out and realized very quickly that they were on different pages. She wanted to walk and a hike and look at the birds, and he wanted to walk, stop, study the bird, pull open the book, read through all the details. I'm sure many of you are nodding your heads thinking of your own spouse. And so she went back in week 4 to strategize, how can we work on this, and realizing that she could temper her preference for just going on a walk and glancing at the birds. And then she asked her husband if he could work with her and limit it to only 3 birds that he is researching on the hike. They came to the agreement, and now, a couple of months later, they are joining a bird club, and for the first time, they are doing a group activity with other people, and she is getting her social emotional needs met, and he is getting his interests, his special interest needs met. She is finding that by having this group and this interest in bird watching, that now they have developed a deeper roots into their relationship. And she's going to begin this process again in the future of finding what's one thing they can do together. Now, family. She has been mailing these packages and sending letters to each of her kids. And with 2 of her kids, the relationship has been kind of strained because, honestly, life with their dad was difficult. And so through this process of writing letters and sending packages, the relationship has been restored between her and her kids, and slowly is happening between her and her husband. Next, work. It was hard, but she did the jump. She spent the first week, she checked out what color is your parachute, and then she decided to sign up for Dave Ramsey and did the career assessment. So week 1 was sign up for the career assessment. Week 2 was doing the assessment. Week 3 was just reading over the assessment. And week 4 was then deciding her top 3 choices. Now, again, for some people, the taking the assessment, signing up and taking the assessment would happen all in one day. But for her, she had to break that out over 4 weeks. But then let's move it forward. The next month, she begins researching one of those top 3 positions. Month 3, she researches the second one. In month 4, she researches the third one. Month 5, she selects her top position she would be interested in, her top career. The next month, she begins researching what would be the best method for her to get into that position. Is there internships? Is there a training, a technical college? And she finds that answer. The next month, she does the application. Do you see what I'm saying? Within 1 year, she can go from, I need to find something. At the end of that year, she can actually be enrolled into a program, or she found an internship, which maybe usually younger people get, but she is fine and they'll accept her, and she's doing an internship program to get the experience she needs. Within 1 year, she went from that. Now, for home, she's made small little changes here and there. And now before when coming home felt gray, she feels this joy that has happened. Because now what she sees around her is beauty and color and comfort. Next, we have her mind. So she has began checking out some of those different books. And some of them have actually aligned up with what she wanted to do for work, but she was really challenged, and she discovered she really can remember certain details, especially when it comes to color and spatial location. She can remember stuff really well. And she's loving how her mind is growing and she has new ideas where before she felt like it was always on repeat, the same ideas over and over again. But this time now she's having all these like beautiful color bursts in her mind of these different ideas, and she's excited to go to the library or excited to research more online about her special topics she's wanting to delve into. For health, she made an appointment with a functional practitioner. She got her lab work done, and she got some answers on why she is so stinking tired when she wakes up in the morning, even if she slept for 9 hours. She's like, I know. She realized her cortisol levels were really low, along with some of her other hormone levels were off. She began making a plan that she told her practitioner that she needs to take things in tiny steps because everything just seems so big for her. So First, she made the appointment, then she saw the appointment. Next week, she scheduled the labs. The following week, she took the labs. The next week, she got the results back. Into the next month, she began talking to the doctor, and they were educating her about her labs and the concerns. The following week, she read and she researched about it. The next week, she ordered the supplements. The following week, she tried to figure out the supplements and organizing them and how does she fit them into her schedule. Next week, she began taking the supplements. Can you see what's happening here? What seems so big. Every week, she's just working on one tiny thing. And then by the end of the year, her hormones are regulated. She wakes up with the sunrise and she feels energized. She is now able to not be exhausted and need a caffeinated beverage a couple times in the afternoon to get her through. She is noticing her skin is looking a little bit brighter now. And the fact that she is able to walk more every day is so exciting to her. Next community, she joined that hiking club and she really loves it. Between the bird club and the hiking club, she is getting out there. She's around other people. In the hiking club, there is 2 women that she is connected with. And every week now, it took a couple of months, but then every week afterwards, wherever there's a coffee shop nearby, they get together and they hang out for an hour talking about life. And slowly she shared about the challenges in her relationship. And these women, they don't have the same challenges. Their spouses or kids are neurodiverse, but one has a parent who's dealing with cancer, and another one has a spouse who has been unkind and not a nice person. So they both understand hardship, and she has found support in that little group. Lastly, in joy, she has really, really loved getting back in touch with her painting, her artistic side. In fact, that has opened up into her faith journey and doing the Bible journaling. It has allowed her to improve her skills. In fact, researching different ways, different painting methods has helped her mind. And also it's led to community because she decided to take a painting class at a local craft store. And now she looks back over the year and she says, oh my goodness, the steps I took every week were so tiny, it feels like. But now when she looks over that year, she's like, I still have hardships. My marriage is still difficult. I still have achy muscles. And, I don't have a job yet, but I'm on my way. But man, it is so different now versus what it was a year ago. So I hope this is a longer episode, but I'm hoping by giving you 2 different scenarios, this can help you to see how this planner can help you take the tiniest steps every week, one tiny step at a time, and they will add up. I promise you. Even if there's 1 month you're not able to do anything, but the next month you slowly begin working on it. And over time, it does become from a snowflake into a bigger snowball. It grows. I know this because I myself have lived it and have been blessed from this process. And so I hope this encourages you as well. If you go to the show notes, I have a link to the Kickstarter, and it will give you all the details on how you can come behind this campaign and support it. Thanks for joining me today. And if these 2 scenarios for these different women If any of that resonated with you, I would love to hear from you and how that connected with you. Hey, thank you for joining me today. I pray this episode gave you encouragement to take one small step. If so, please leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts to help other women find this show. By the way, if you're loving this conversation and want more encouragement like this, join my email list at bit.ly/myselfcare. That is bit.ly/myselfcare. I have a planner launching soon that will help you put all this into action in your own life. I look forward to chatting with you again next week for another episode.